Hey YouTube, this is another video wherein I'm just talking about my Saturday. Nothing of real substance. Ooh, sorry. Forgot my headphones were in. Okay, so I just got inside and I've had a fairly eventful day, and I feel like this could be a quick video, but that's only if I don't start telling a bunch of associated stories. So yeah. You'll hear the noise in the background. So, as I've said in previous videos, my dorm is pretty near to a major highway. So, when the windows are open, I get like a sound like the ocean. Or some people have said that, like, in videos, it sounds more like a fan than the ocean. When you're here, it sounds like the ocean until horns start beeping, and that ruins the effect. So, anyway, about my day. First, I'm getting off the bus today. I'm getting off of the crosstown bus so I can get to the train, so I can then head to music school. So I get off of the bus, and there's someone walking in front of me. They're moving really slowly, so I'm trying to move as slowly as they are. I walk really quickly, guys, so moving slowly is painful for me. But okay, so I could like pace myself with the lady. Or I later found out it was a lady. The small person, which I assumed it was a lady. I just assumed that small people are women, which isn't always true. I've met some very interesting Amazonian women. Is that... Okay, I'm not... Okay. I've met tall women, short men, yada yada yada. But usually just when people are short in stature, a lot of times I just assume that it's a lady, which I've met enough people for me not to assume that, but I do. So, the person, like, it was a couple of seconds and I thought that they'd stepped down. I guess, she was like really old, moving super slowly, so it took her a little while to step down off of the step. And I didn't realize this, so I stepped forward and I like stepped on her foot. Now I moved lightly because I wasn't sure. So for me, I personally don't think that I stepped on her that hard, but you know what? She might have been startled. So I don't know. Maybe it seemed more intense because like I said, I was moving slowly and kind of gingerly. So I was stepping really lightly, and as soon as my foot like kind of made contact, there we go, with her foot, I like stepped back immediately. And she was like, "Oh, you stepped on my foot, blah blah blah," and she's like rambling and ranting. And I don't know if at some point she like turned back and looked at me, and because when she got off of the bus and she's still complaining because I stepped down after she got off of the bus, I was certain she got off of the bus, and then my cane like tapped her feet, and she was like yelling at me to slow down and stuff, and she was yelling at me to slow down and stuff, and someone is like, "She's blind." She's like, "I know," and I was like, "Oh, well, damn, okay." So, sorry, I'm getting hot. Just gotta take off my sweater. Okay. I just got inside, by the way. Did I mention that? I feel like I did. Okay. So, she was, going on and stuff. So now she's walking really slowly, and I wanted to try to edge around her. So there wasn't a lot of space between the bus stop and the pole, and I knew that the pole was there. Not from having walked into it, as I find out about most of my landmarks, but I think I actually saw it one time where someone, like, warned me about it. A lot of people yell warnings at me. Have I talked about this? I probably... Oh, really? That was uncalled for. Sorry. New York City sounds. Or just city sounds. So I tried to edge around her, and I, like, bumped into her. I'd like to think it was gentle. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe she was just extra sensitive because she was old. I don't know. But, so I, like, kind of... I didn't even touch her just yet. My cane had touched her. And let me tell you, when someone hits someone with their cane, generally it does not really hurt. And I know this from, like, personal experience. It does not really hurt, because canes are pretty flimsy, contrary to popular belief. That's why I've gone through so many canes. If people have tripped over it, and then it's, like, bent, it bends really easily. So you have to put a lot of force behind it for the cane to really, like, hurt. But again, maybe she was startled. I don't know what type of shoes she was wearing, so the bottom of the cane is super dirty. Maybe she was wearing sandals or something. I don't know. I'm trying to give her all types of benefits of all types of doubts. Did that phrase even work? So, I tried to get her, my cane tapped her, so I knew where she was. I saw her, but my cane kind of confirmed her location. So I tried to edge around her, and that's when I, like, brushed her. And she's like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And I was like, "Around you." She's like, "Do you need help with something?" And I was like, "Not from you, ma'am. No." thanks. And I kept on walking. And then, because of the way she was just talking to me, I did not like it. She was just an old, crotchety white lady. And before anyone, like, comments and says something, you know, like, racist or whatever, everybody notices race. I could tell in her voice, and I saw the sun glinting off of her skin, which was on the paler side of things. She was just, you know, crotchety old woman. And so I brushed past her, because I was just annoyed at that point, so I don't want to be gentle. I just was like, alright, whatever. Bye, Felicia. So, you know, I get to the train station, blah, blah, blah. On the train, this has nothing to do with, like, well, I guess partially. So there was this guy who had the most delicious accent, paired with his voice was absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god. If no one has figured this out from past videos, I have Anglophilic tendencies. I refuse to call myself an Anglophile, but I have the tendencies of one. It doesn't help that my aunt is from there, and when I was younger, like, I always used to imitate her, and, you know, she'd encourage it. My mom would get annoyed, but she'd encourage it, and this dude, he was like, do you need help? And I was just like, oh, I don't, but I'll take it from you. Just keep saying words at me, sir. So a side note, that happens as well. Like, sometimes I don't, I'll accept the help because the person just sounds lovely. Anyway, so now I'm heading back to the dorm, and this is really strange to me. I think I may have mentioned this before. Would people, like, yell instructions at me? So, well, first, so I get to the corner at, Park Avenue, and I'm crossing, and, oh, I'm about to cross, but then, like, it's going to rain, I think, so the wind started to pick up, and, like, dust was blowing in my eyes, so I kept on, like, rubbing at them, and so I stopped, and I knew that I could cross, but I was like, you know what, I'm not sure how much time I have left, and I'm just gonna stand here and rub my eyes instead. And this guy's like, oh, you need help, sister? And I was like, so this is the second time, I haven't been, it's interesting being called sister. I grew up so much with people telling me that I sound like, you know, the typical American white person, and kind of dissociating me from, like, and then they're surprised when they find out that I had, like, a phase where I was, like, obsessed with Nicki Minaj, and that I still remember the lyrics to a lot of, like, rap songs. Even though I don't sound right rapping. So it's been interesting. I know each time I'm called sister. Sorry. So, you know, he asked if I needed help, and I was like, you know what, sure, if you can just tell me when I can cross. And he's like, okay. So then he counts down the seconds, because, you know, I couldn't cross anymore. I wasn't sure how much time I had left, but it was only like 10 more seconds, and Park is it's a pretty busy avenue, so I wouldn't cross it in 10 seconds unless I was with someone. So, you know, he counted down. He's like, oh, you know, well, now the light just turned red, and I'm about to cross this way, so when it's green again, like, I'll let you know. Great. So we're crossing, and there's a few times I started to veer or not walk in a straight line, so he directed me, yada, yada, yada. Great. So at the corner, really? That is uncalled for. Yes, it's probably an emergency, but not in the middle of my video. I'm sorry. So, you know, at the corner, we part ways, I tell him thank you, and then he thanks me, which I thought was weird, because he was the one who helped me, but okay. If I brought some joy to your day, you feel like a good Samaritan, a great person, you helped this blind person, awesome. So I'm walking, and I know the train station is coming up, so I'm about to turn to the left, and someone's like, you're about to walk into the train, move to the left, and I was just like, okay, thank you. And, like, and they kind of shouted instructions at me afterward, and then I passed the bus stop. For the crosstown bus, a lot of them, like, they're really long buses, so they don't stop at the bus stop, so I go further. And so they were like, are you looking for the bus stop? No, I'm okay. So then I stop, and they're like, you know, this isn't the crosswalk, you can't cross here. I know, thank you. Okay, thanks. And I'm always, like, torn between being annoyed at them and then just, like, you know, they mean well. They do. It's just the way people go about offering their opinion. So then I get off of the bus, and I pop into CVS to get something, and, oh, that's always an adventure. So I walk in there, and almost, like, there's rarely someone always standing there, just hanging around. So I always have to just, like, stand there awkwardly waiting for someone to notice me. Sometimes I call out to people to try to, like, ask them if they see someone that works there around. And, you know, They usually, sometimes they do, sometimes people, they just like totally disregard me. Whatever. So sometimes I'm there and I just want to go, hello? Like that's something that a lot of like older blind people do, like who also have an additional like disability, and it's like a joke, a running joke with like some of my friends and I. I kind of want to do that, but I frequent that CVS too much to do it, so whatever. Anyway, so someone assisted me, whatever, I'm leaving, and I'm walking, and this happened like last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm walking, I'm in motion. So the way that I had my headphones when I first started the video, so one headphone, earpiece in my left ear, and then the other one like hanging up on the collar of my shirt so that it wouldn't be dangling there. I'm walking and I'm kind of like humming to myself, and someone's like, you okay? You know where you're going? You're at, and then they tell me the intersection, and they're like, you're passing this diner, and you're passing here, and you know, you're about to get to the corner, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, thanks, but like, did I look confused? If anything, you would assume that I'm a crazy person because I'm humming and muttering to myself as I listen to my music. Like, I just think it's so strange that happens. So then whatever, I get to the corner and someone's like, you know, you can cross. And then they're like, you're walking so fast, slow down. Leave me alone. Does my walking quickly impede you? Somehow you're behind me, so it's no chance that I'm going to walk into you. Leave me alone. And then again, so I'm walking, and this was I don't know, of everything that I told you guys today, this was the strangest occurrence. So I'm walking and I'm singing, I don't remember the song. Alright, I'll sing it, and then you guys, if you comment in the comments, yeah, and tell me what song it is, that'd be great. If your plane fell out of the sky, who would you call with your last goodbye? I'm pretty sure that was like off and I sang it higher. But someone just kind of like, I couldn't remember the words after that, so I just kind of like was singing that and I just kept on singing it over and over because it was stuck in my head. And someone just joined in, and then they kept on singing the rest of the words, and they're like, you have a beautiful voice, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad music can bring people together. So I'm wearing an All Time Low t-shirt right now. I don't know how much of it you guys can see. But I'm wearing an All Time Low t-shirt, and one time I was wearing it, and I was crossing the street, and these girls, like, they were crossing, toward me, and they were like, oh my gosh, she's wearing an All Time Low t-shirt. Did you see the blind girl? She's wearing an All Time, she thinks she's like All Time Low? And I was like, yeah, I love All Time Low. And they were just like, oh, it was like it speaks. Just like, oh, at least we know that music brings people together. So I've had 2 eventful Saturdays in a row, although, so no one changed LaShawn to LaShonda, and, you know, like, none of that, and I wasn't actually, I was hit on again today. So after the old lady, I was walking to the train, and I called my friend to rant about it, and this guy's like, bless you, and I was like, is he talking to me? So the things that people say, it's kind of like things that are usually directed at me, but I'm not sure if they are, and I don't want to respond, because I have responded sometimes when they weren't talking to me, and it's been very awkward. So, Live Like You're Dying, that's the song. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this guy, he's like, bless you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, is he talking to me? And he like walks closer, and he touches my shoulder, and he's like, you know, bless you, have a beautiful day, you're a beautiful young woman. I guess I wasn't hitting, he was just complimenting me. He didn't ask me to hang out with him for the night, or spend the night with him. I don't remember how that guy last week phrased it, but the insinuation was pretty clear. So, you know, I was told that I was gorgeous. That reminds me of another time. My friend and I were at the train station waiting for my mom, and this guy was like, hey, you know, you guys are like beautiful young ladies, how old are you? And I don't know why, we were just kind of startled, so we were just like, you know, 19 and 20, like, I don't know why we told him our real ages. And he was like, oh, you know, I've been looking for a wife, yada yada yada, and we're just like, what? Now my mom curses like a sailor and a trucker combined, so the guy came, and I was surprised that she didn't start cursing at him, but he was like, oh, you know, you have to bring them to my church, you know, I'm looking for a girlfriend, you know, I'll take good care of them. And we're just like, what is happening? And he's like, oh, you know, here, let me give you my number, like, you know, someone have a phone? And my mom's like, I have a good memory. And, you know, the guy, he's just like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. And he says his number, and he says it a couple of times as he's walking away. He's just, like, calling it out. And my mom was like, what the F, this N-word? And just, like, all types of F-bombs. She's like, you should have said you were, like, 15 or 16. And we're like, I know, but we didn't think about it at the time. I don't know. People are just strange. And then, okay, this is the final story. So, I was talking to my friend Kiara, Kiki/K, the one from the top 10 weirdest things about my disability video. And she was telling me about how she was, like, on the train at, like, 1 a.m. She was heading home. And this guy, like, was trying to talk to her. He was hitting on her. And he asked how old she was. And I think she said she was 15 or 15 and a half. And he was like, oh, that's okay. What? This was also in, like, Harlem. I'm a Brooklyn girl, so I'm a little, I can be stereotypical / a jerk, to Harlem and the Bronx. The Bronx isn't bad, I guess, but Brooklyn's better. But no, so just, like, people are so weird. And in, the last video that I did, my last vlog video, one of my, subscribers, oh, I don't remember your name, something about Silk, right? Every time my voiceover reads me your username, I always, like, chuckle at it. Okay, you know who you are. But she asked if I'm ever, like, uncomfortable with, or if I ever feel unsafe, I believe her phrasing was. I think you're a her. If you're a him. So my subscribers, whatever my subscriber's phrasing was, actually, no, I think you would be a her, because you commented about, like, men and stuff, which doesn't mean anything, but I'm just gonna assume here. So, and I don't necessarily feel unsafe. Like, yes, there are weird moments like that. Like, I've been at, like, bus stops where there was, like, no one around, or it was, like, dark at night, and there was one time this guy who was, like, reeking of alcohol, and, he was like, can you see at all? And I was already hesitant to answer, but I was like, okay, he hasn't done anything, so if I don't answer, like, I don't know, I don't want to, like, set him off or anything. Maybe me not answering will be what tips him over the edge. So, I was like, I can see a little. And he was like, oh, aren't you ever worried about traveling in the city by yourself, like, traveling as a beautiful young woman? When you ask me that, then yes, I do start to get a little worried. There was a 7-Eleven that I knew was nearby, so I kind of, like, walked away, and I just, like, tracked the bus on my phone until I knew it was approaching. So then I went back to the bus stop, and or I've had other times, just, like, men who just say stuff, and I just keep walking, and usually, like, that's it. Well, I say usually, like, something else has happened. That's always it. Like, I'll decline their propositions, and but it's never been. I've never felt unsafe per se. Sometimes I felt, like, a little off, like, alright, this is a little weird, but I don't know, I feel like unsafe might be an overstatement, because there's always, like, people, at least, like, even if it's a little while later, like, at least someone walking by that I might be able to get the attention of, like, hey, do you know where this is? Like, I'll just come up with something, or again, like, I'll pretend to be on the phone, or I'll, like, go find somewhere, like a store or something. I'll ask Siri where something is. Or sometimes I'll just stay there, and I'll just kind of be monotone. I think it depends on, I guess, the vibe that I get from the person, or how creeped out I am by them, or how they approach me, too. Yeah, alright, this went off topic. I digressed a bit. But hey, I think I'm under 20 minutes, just barely. So yeah, cool beans, awesome sauce, coolio. Alright, I'm finished now. Okay, bye!